Premier Car Show, Wisconsin's Hot Rod Radio.
Today. Now, actually, I've known you many, many years ago. We have Ira Gabriel here. He's actually the Vice President of Marketing, PR, and Communications, as I'm reading your card here. Ira, welcome.
Thank you, Captain Bob, Arlo. It's great to be back.
Our
it was
pleasure.
Many, many years ago we were together on the Hot Rod Power Tour.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, and I remember we sat there at Ellen Kowicki Park. You talked to everybody about the Power Tour. And I won't say some of the things that happened there, but it's kind of cool. But again,
I've heard them.
We ended up going to Green Bay, and a lot of cars got pulled out of there for some reason because they were in the wrong parking area. But the following year, we ended up at Miller Park and took off from there again, and it worked out fantastic. You guys did a great job. So, again, we appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
But now you're part of SEMA, which we're very happy to see that. And one of the big things that we want to talk to you about, which we think is very important, we've got a car sitting right behind us right now, too, is the Young Gun Awards. I think that's so cool that you're actually bringing younger people, really, as we want to, into the industry here.
Right, right. And, you know, our whole industry is about enjoying the passion and the hobby and the business of being involved in automotive. And one of the things we took upon ourselves at SEMA with the board of directors and the leadership and everybody involved in the industry is that how do we get more younger people involved in the industry doing a lot of the great things that we all do. We've made a living at. We do it as a hobby, as a profession, and as a career. So we embarked on a program called the SEMA Young Guns program. And where we are with that is at the SEMA show, there's over 1,600 incredible vehicles that appear at the SEMA show. Yes. Everything from a booth vehicle to a feature vehicle. And there's a tireless amount of effort and work put into these vehicles. We wanted to identify and encourage younger builders out there, those that might have a passion, those might have just an interest, to get involved, to start building a vehicle, and then let's figure out how to get it to the SEMA show. So this past year, it's our second year of doing the Young Guns program. We partnered with 3 regional partners out there, national promoters who have events. We partnered with the Good Guys. We partnered with Bonnier that do a lot of off-road and street machines, street machine mats in St. Paul. And we also partnered with a tuner sport compact group called Autocon that held an event, 2 events, one in New York and one in Los Angeles. And the opportunity was, we're in our 5th year now of the SEMA Battle of the Builders, which crowns really the best vehicle at the SEMA show, as judged by David Freiberger, who also from Hot Rod Magazine back in the day on the Power Tour.
We've talked to him.
We've talked to David and Fred Williams and R.J. Devera. So 3 really, real strong icons in the industry. We've created the Battle of the Builders program, but the Young Guns program is part of the Battle of the Builders. So by partnering with these regional promoters, Good Guys and Autocon and Bonnier, we've gone out to the country. We've participated at events, and by participating at these selected events, a builder who enters their car show had the opportunity to win, and then SEMA would pay for the transportation of the vehicle to the show. So today, here this week at the SEMA show, we awarded 14 all-expense paid prize packages to young builders out there, and everything from a truck to a muscle car to a sport compact car. And it's really the opportunity for a young builder to feel as though they can come to the national stage and they can meet some of the great builders of our time. And those builders, by the way, all of them who are here, really, really extend just the warmest greetings, because it's important to have younger enthusiasts come in. It's important from a business standpoint, it's important from the hobby standpoint, but it's also important because it gives these younger builders really a path. And that's what we've identified. There are some people that are very, very good at sitting behind a desk and working on a computer. And there's some people that are very, very good and strong at working and designing and building and bending metal and fabricating great, great product for vehicles. We want to encourage those. So yesterday, today is Tuesday, yesterday, which was Monday, had the opportunity to visit 43 young builders who are here at the show, 14 of which were part of our program, and really talk to them and find out what their passions were and what brought them here.
That's the story. I mean, Bob and I do Young Gun. We've been doing it for many, many years. you're right. You want to meet them and hear the story of why they're doing it, who they are, and why they have the passion. And I think you're correct on that, because going to them and talking to them is key. You're going to learn so much from them, you know. And that's going to help drive the industry. If you understand and appreciate what's going on with them and why they have this passion, you can help serve them, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And last year, which was our first year of the Young Gun program, we had such great stories that really were born out of that, where we had a Young Gun participant who came from back east, who's here in Las Vegas, first time on a national stage, meeting all the people that he has read about and seen, or
it's a big deal.
Been just involved with from a kind of a fan and a participant standpoint. And now he's able to talk to some of these top builders. Now he's able to get some of the TV producers that are here producing great automotive content to talk to him and say, hey, we'd like to do something more. And those are things that are really, really important to SEMA. As a nonprofit trade association, really our mission is to help our members. And in helping our members, one of the things that they've raised their hand and said is, how do we get more younger people involved?
Wow, that's fantastic.
That's a huge issue that Bob and I have been working on for many years as well, because, you know, you've got the imports. And when we talk to those kids, I call them kids because I'm old now, you know, they'll tell you they're looking for our knowledge.
Right.
They're looking for our vehicles, but we hoard them. And be honest with you, sometimes we're crabby and we don't want to give up our knowledge, but they're thirsty for it. One of the things that we noticed that you're doing, we got your report. I believe it was 18 to 34-year-olds. Because Bob and I have been asking the question of many celebrities, people in products and service, stuff like that. Where do you see this going? We talk to the young kids all the time. We know their passion, but where do you see it going? And we get everything all over the road. Well, it's dying. Well, we don't know. And then you guys spent a lot of money and a lot of time gathering, searching for that data that him and I have been thirsty for. And so tell us a little bit about that report, which you found was 18 to 34, am I correct? Okay. Tell us a little bit about that report.
So one of the things that's important for SEMA is to be able to provide information to our members and have our members take that information and begin to build product based on those trends. Now, we all know reaching a younger generation has its challenges right now. The world of traditional print magazine that many of us grew up with is narrowing. It's not declining as much as it's really narrowing. There's still, as you can see walking the floors here, there's still people who take pictures that run in published magazines, but really a lot of it is going to be online. And that's where we find many of the younger enthusiasts and the younger builders, they're building, they're learning, they're following all online. What our report really tried to accomplish is to give information on what some of those trends are.
Correct.
This year at the show, SEMA partnered with young enthusiast influencers out there. So what we recognized is we can talk to the audience of hot rodders and builders, and we can communicate in a variety of different forms. But really what we're finding is that the younger enthusiast is really influenced by what they're seeing on social media. So they're influenced on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And so for us to be authentic and for us to really speak to them, to share some of the great opportunities and the people and the experiences, we've got to be that association that translates everything that people are seeing here this week into social media art form, because that's really what's digest. We all know that. We all have kids who are, you know, sitting on the smartphones. We brought 6 influencers here from all over the country who have either deep passion in automotive or who have an interest in automotive, but speak to a very, very large and kind of a wide audience. We're touring them around to show them SEMA. We're having them spend time with the young guns builders, and each of them are gravitating to a different builder based on what they may be passionate about. We have some truck builders, we have a tuner, we have somebody who's really into just building muscle cars, and then one who's a little bit more kind of on a just a general interest standpoint. That's what we have to do today to communicate some of the great things that we used to do, going to the local corner speed shop, where you'd have 3 or 4 of your best friends sitting there, and we'd bench race on a Friday or a Saturday, and we'd sit, we'd talk, and we'd share ideas. The world today has changed. Technology has created that opportunity for us, and so for us to be relevant as an association to provide benefit to our members, we have to communicate to that audience that would normally go to a speed shop that might not hang out there all the time, still goes there, but shares information on a social platform.
And I think the sharing is the good part. Collaborating and sharing. You know.
Well, I think that was kind of important in that report. You talked in there also too about, would you rather give up your cell phone for a certain point of time or have a cool car? And the report came
for
back,
a week.
Yeah, they'd rather give up the cell phone because the car was more important, because the social media, being able to meet their friends. Yeah, which we thought was very cool.
Back in the publishing days, we used to say the original Google was the newsstand. Right?
Yes, right, exactly.
You would go there and you would make that decision. Am I going to pick up Hot Rod Magazine? Am I going to pick up CarCraft? What am I going to pick up that's going to provide me information? Well, today, you can do that on a smartphone as you're taxiing your gate at an airport.
In that report, was there anything that surprised you?
There's a lot of things that I think continue to surprise me as I continue to walk SEMA for these years and go out to the car shows. There's still a lot of passion for automotive, and where I think the general trends are, people think, oh, the younger generation is really not into cars. I don't know about that. I think, well, our report shows something a little different, but also you go to many of these events out there, and there are still an enormous amount of younger enthusiasts that are really interested.
We will let you know, Ira. We put it out on our radio show. We kind of read a little story that Jay Leno had done, and we kind of put it out there. We said, how do you feel about what Jay had mentioned about that the cars are kind of like cream cheese, they have a shelf life, and the younger people are more involved into different activities, families, a lot of money problems, they can't afford the cars, they don't have the time. And a young guy got back to us and said,
we put it out there for all you people, give us some feedback on what you think. We got quite a bit, but this one was kind of fun.
This one came back, a young guy came back, and he said, my father had passed away, and he said, I have a garage now full of Buicks and Studebakers. And he said, just so you understand, I really want these cars. Us younger people do want these cars, but what we're losing is the knowledge of you old guys that are dying away and knew how to maintain and keep these cars running. And we're not sure how to do that. So they do want them. They just need that help to get those cars running and keep them running. And I thought that was very important. So we actually sent that to Jay. So when hopefully we see him here, we're going to see what he thinks about that also too.
He's been a great supporter of SEMA, and he's a real enthusiast. One of the things I noticed too is by going out on the road and attending a lot of these car shows, technology has been a big factor for everything, right? So a lot of the younger audience communicates online, as we've talked about, but then also some of the cars, everything is really now computerized chips and what they're looking at. And so the knowledge that you reference is about really that generational storytelling. That can be done with a wrench and a screwdriver. And this is how we made the carburetor work. This is how we were able to do this with the vehicle.
You used to see the image back in the 50s, 60s, maybe 70s of guys leaning over and hunched over the fender. Now you see him in the front seat with a laptop.
With a laptop. With a laptop and a plug right in.
But it's funny.
Going back to that, and that's something I think what we have to do too is, we're the old guys of the hot rodding time. We have to educate some of the older hot rod people out there too, car people out there, to accept these young people. And they have to welcome them, because again, they're the ones that are going to take over the hobby. They're the ones that are going to keep this going. And as I'll say to a lot of these guys and girls that say, they got those imports, they got these cars.
Can't do that.
They're getting out of a computer chip and a 4-cylinder engine the same horsepower we were getting out of a big block with a blower.
And the body
They're the
modifications
hot rodders of today.
And the modifications to do the body is amazing.
Yes.
And so, yes, you are right, Bob. I mean, we need to, and him and I are trying very hard to get us old guys not to be so crabby about it. I mean, you got to accept them all, May we tell you one of our young gun stories before you go?
Yes,
because we've seen so many of them. We love them all. And what we do too is we go to the old timers and we have them collect some funds for that kid.
Yeah.
We go around, hey, give $20, come on.
Wow.
But anyway, so we're at the show, and a 57 patina'd car comes in. It's a little church show, like 300 cars. And there was an older couple and this young kid behind the wheel. They park. The older couple, they walk away, and we never saw them. They just left. And this kid gets out, puts his lawn chair, an old lawn chair, next to the 57. There he sits. So about 2 hours, Bob and I are watching him. He's just sitting there with a big smile on his face. We went over and said something to him, and he goes, this is my car, 57. He said, I'm only 15. I got my temps. I had to bring my parents to drive here. And so they're coming back at the end of the day, and they get in the car, and I can drive home. And we went, wow, that's pretty cool. And so he was so talkative about the car. We find out from his parents, we talked to him later, always had the Matchbox 57. He always had 57s. Found this in Minnesota, so it was quite a drive for him to get it.
Drive, right? Exactly.
And there's the car. Okay, we see him a year later. The engine is all gone over. He did it. A year later, interior is all done. A year later, it's painted.
Yeah.
Nice wheels on. Progressively, we just saw this kid as he was getting older. He kept adding to that 57, and it's just an amazing story. Yes. But there he is in his little lawn chair. Mm-hmm. Had never been to a car show before. He just heard about it, and he parks it, and that's a neat story.
Enjoyed it.
That's great. I would encourage your listeners as they go to car shows next season and whenever they attend a car show, if you are out there with your chair and you're enjoying the nice, beautiful afternoon, and you see a young kid, a young boy, a young girl, a young adult, come over and take a glance, maybe curiosity, maybe they have that passion, they wanted the 57, maybe they just had never seen something like that before. I would encourage them to break the ice and invite them over to your car and have them take a look inside, because to me that's where that connection really begins. There's a lot of curiosity out there, and a lot of the younger enthusiasts, or even the younger just passive enthusiasts, have that interest. And it's that first step. It's to break the ice, to allow people to come in and really welcome them and then transfer that knowledge.
Yes, exactly. Because these young kids, they want to learn. They really want to learn about it. So.
And we can learn from them.
Yes,
exactly.
I
mean, I talk to them all the time when we're at car shows. I learn a lot. I mean, what they're doing with computers, but just their passion of the body. I'm into the body lines and styles, so I talk to them a great deal. Why did you do this? And they have a very good reason. Every time they tell me what that reason is. It's cool. I mean, it's no different than me taking my old hot rod and, taking the windshield wipers off. Well, that's practical. Why did you take those off? I don't like the looks. Well, it's the same thing with them today.
Exactly.
They take things off, they modify it because that's their car. That's their story. And I just love that stuff. Pretty cool.
Well, Ira, again, we appreciate you taking the time out today to come by us and be with us today. We appreciate this very much.
Just happy you guys are here. It's great to see you again.
It's been a while.
It's a busy week at SEMA. We've got a lot of things that started this morning, and then, of course, the SEMA show will continue through the week. Friday evening is our after party, which is where we open the doors to the consumers, and we're really excited about that.
Okay. Now, it has grown over the years. And from what I understand, if I'm not mistaken, it has grown even more this year too, correct? More vendors?
Correct. And with the challenge, of course, of Las Vegas is constantly changing and evolving. So there's some property that we used to display at and use across the street. That I think those who have been here will recognize as the Gold Lot that's has broken ground for some construction for future expansion. So we've got a lot of people here. The aisleways were packed. I go to a certain point and try to take some photos year after year, and it's always great to just see the activity of people in the show and on the floor.
So is there in the future someday that this might be a 2-week show? You never know.
I don't think these guys can handle it. They go nuts.
The exhibitors here.
You look around, you ask that question, you see a lot of people kind of waving and shaking. And the one thing I'll share with you, the real quick thing is, it's always funny we talked about technology, but the evening conversations, after the day is over, always start with everybody looking at their smartphone and saying, how many miles did you walk?
Yeah.
And now they look at their watch, of course, but, it's just people are here because they love it. We're here because we love it. Cool. We're here because we love the industry and we want to help our members.
Cool.
Yeah.
And we just want things to really continue and prosper for our members and to bring new people into it, younger people, and to show the innovation and products that people work very hard on.
Cool. Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, so if I get up at 5 in the morning here in Vegas, I turn on the news, and I smile every time when they say, okay, SEMA's in town. There's going to be traffic jams everywhere. Divert here, divert there. And I think that's so cool because the automotive industry just caused a traffic jam.
Automotive challenge.
I smile because it's kind of ironic.
That's true. So, again, we thank you for being here. And we put out to our listeners. Now, you got to remember, like you had mentioned, accept the young people that are there because I'll put this out to all the listeners that are out there. You were young once, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chip Foose was young. Gene Winfield was young.
More importantly, our parents didn't want us doing this stuff.
Exactly.
We were rebels.
Exactly.
And we got rebels now.
Yeah.
Come on.
So these are the young kids that are coming into it. Accept them. We were young, too.
You have to.
So cool.
You have to do
so
that.
thanks, Ira. Appreciate it very much for being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All righty. So, again, SEMA 2018. Woo!
Thank you, my friend.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.